this is for TFCC and ECU tendonitis. So really any pain that the athlete describes ulnar-sided, okay? They either have pain with ulnar deviation or extension, all right? And so these are the two things we're gonna block for. Likely TFCC is involved or ECU is involved in that pain, but it could be random stuff too. It could be just, this hurts when I move like this, okay? So what we're gonna do to tape them, this is gonna be for on the court or on the field. So this is in practice or competition. So we're gonna do what's called a gutter unload, okay? Same unload we've done the whole semester, just a lot more condensed and a little bit smaller into the area. So what we would have done is sprayed around the entire wrist. We're going to use the 8-inch coverall. We're going to take a nice long strip right off. Usually the wrist is about 6 or 7 boxes in width. That's about all you need. A more petite wrist, probably 6 across, okay? So we're going to take, this is going to be acting kind of like as our anchor or our pre-wrap. So we're going to use this. Now, when you do this tape, you need to make sure you go high enough, turn your wrist around the other way, and you need to make sure that you actually cover the wrist without going into his hand, okay? So that's why you gotta kind of see what you're doing. Okay, so that's an important piece. Then from there, he's gonna stay just like this in position for me for the rest of the way. Okay, so now what you're going to do is we're going to add gutters. Okay, so the point of a gutter is going to be to allow the tape to come across the gutter without putting so much compression into the actual tissue. Okay, so it's going to raise it a little bit, kind of like the bumper at the end of the shoe, right? You're going to bump into the bumper and not the nail bed. Okay, same concept. So we're going to use foam here. Okay, so we've got our 1/8 inch foam. Now the key to placing your foam is where is the pain. So if we've got only the TFCC involved, then here's your TFCC. So I'm going to gutter around the TFCC. If I know I've got the ECU involved, this gutter is going to have to come beyond the styloid to incorporate the ECU, okay? So again, if you just think it's pain right here at the ulnar region, there's no real pain on the shaft of the forearm or the distal wrist, and you don't think ECU is involved, this is where we're going to place our gutter. Now I measured my gutter before to get the right distance. I just measured it to the tape, the coverall, so that I had a gutter that lands inside of the coverall, okay, and not too long. All right, remember this area is a small area. You don't need super long gutters or pieces of tape. So from here, now I've got, right here is the ulna fovea. Okay, so now I've got it right there. That's what I'm gonna unload. Okay, so now we're gonna start with our Luco pieces. We're gonna use the same concept, except because it's a smaller area, I'm gonna cut my pieces into thirds. So 1, 2, and then I'm going to put them back together. Okay, of those. Now, we published this. I'm going to post these articles, okay? I was part of the team who published this in the Tennis Medicine Journal. So now you'll have you can extrapolate this tape to anywhere, okay? So technically, when we publish this, the strips that we're going to do need anchors, right? Don't all strips need anchors? technically, that coverall could be an anchor. Okay, technically. But the way we taught it, and the way I'm going to teach it to you, is we're going to add an extra layer right next to the gutter, and that piece of leukotape is now going to be my anchor. Okay? So technically you need an anchor, but I could argue the coverall's an anchor. But for your exam, don't argue. Just do that. Okay? Now we're going to pinch, pull it towards me, tension, place it down. Okay? I purposely make these strips just a little bit longer because you guys tend to make them too short, and then you don't even get over the gutter. Okay? So it's okay if they overlap there onto the wrist a little bit. Okay? I'm okay with that. But we're going to do a pinch, a pull, and now you see as the tape is coming across the wrist, it's putting pressure into the gutter, not into his TFCC. Do you see that? You also see the wrinkling that's happening here. That's how I know that it's really working. Okay, I'm really unloading that area. I'm not going to let all that force go through there. I'm going to get as high as I can. I really want to cover the gutter. So I'm going to use one more piece. And then when I do this tape, this is usually how I have them in position because it gets tiring to hold the arm up. So we anchor the elbow down. Okay, so now we're covered. You got it? So from there, I need, technically, what do I need next?
Closures.
I need anchors to close back all that, these side pieces. Okay, just made that a little long. Technically, I need that. And then technically I need that. Okay? So now the gutter unload on its basic form is complete. And he's going to say, yeah, I don't have pain when I deviate like that anymore because I blocked him. I blocked him so high that now he's bumping into the gutters and he's actually not able to completely pinch this fovea area. Does that make sense? But what if he's like, yeah, that's better, but I still feel something there. So what we can do are add another layer, which are called blocks. Okay? So I'm going to add a block. Okay? I'm going to have him push directly at me, and I push into his wrist. Now that's going to feel tighter than what I just did. Okay, and now he's like, oh yeah, now I really can't get into that painful range. Now it's your decision whether you need 2 blocks or you need 1 ulnar block and 1 extension block. Push up and I push down. So it really depends. If he told me he hurts with extension and ulnar deviation, I would block both. If he told me it's only this way, I might say, well, I'm going to put 2 of these on here because I know it's going to loosen up a little bit as you play, but I want to make sure it stays on. Okay? The final piece, once you've decided whether you need blocks or not, because you might not, but I usually like to add 1 block at least to the ulnar side when it's truly an ulnar deviation pain. I really like to add 1 block to the extension if it's pain with wrist extension. Your decision, do you need 2 blocks versus 1? The final piece to close the whole thing, because we've covered him all around, he has no skin exposed, we do a light plas wrap. This is to finish the tape job. Cover it all up so it all stays in place. I am going to close with leukotape. And if he has a wristband, I'm still telling him, put it on top of this to keep it secure, that nothing would come by and rub. If he's a goalkeeper or somebody who has gloves that they play, you just put that glove right over and that'll keep it and secure it. Okay? So